Hello future cat conquerors, welcome to your favorite cat prep channel Apex Cat Coaching. I'm Suraj Chawla and I'm your quant trainer. So in today's session, we'll be looking at the fifth video on the basics of ratios, and we'll be looking at some more different types of ratios, how do we simplify them or how do we combine them. Right, so before we move forward, please subscribe to our channel, like our video and also share this video amongst your friends. And do not forget to follow us on Instagram by typing Apex Vizag so that you get all the information and updates regarding MBA prep from the right people at the right time. So far, we have already uploaded the first 4 videos on the basics of ratios. If you have not watched them, my advice would be watch them by clicking on the link mentioned here and then come back to this video so that you can learn the concepts effectively. So let's get into today's session. Now the first question given to us is A is to B is to C is 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4. Now जब भी हमको रेशियो फ्रैक्शन के फॉर्मेट में मिलता है, हमारा फर्स्ट काम होना चाहिए कि हम उनके फ्रैक्शंस को हटा दें. Clear? Now what is the best way to remove the fractions? So I have 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4. Now if I take you back to the first session on ratios, we had learned that if we multiply each term with the same number, then the ratio does not change. ठीक है? तो अब मैं इस चीज को अगर x से मल्टीप्लाई करता हूं और इसको भी सेम नंबर से अगर हम मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो हमारा रेशियो चेंज नहीं होगा. Point number 1. Clear? Point number 2 is that x should be in such a way that it should be divisible by 2. Similarly, x should be divisible by 3 to ensure that the fraction is getting cancelled, and x should be a multiple of 4 in order to ensure that the fraction is getting cancelled. Clear? So therefore, it's very important for us to assume the number to be an LCM of denominators. अगर हमको fraction को avoid करना है, तो हमको denominators को cancel करना है. So therefore, whenever you are given ratio in the form of fractions, our first job is take the LCM of denominators. So what is the LCM of 2, 3 and 4? The LCM of 2, 3 and 4 becomes 12. I repeat, our first job is to take the LCM of denominators, which will become how much? 12. Clear? And once we get the LCM, then our job is to multiply the same number with each of the ratio to ensure that the ratio does not change. Clear, guys? So therefore, what do I get from here? So 2 1s are 2 6s. Similarly, 3 1s are 3 4s. And this becomes 4 1s are 4 3s. Now this becomes the simplified or the non-fractional form of the ratio. So point number 1 that we have learned is if we are given ratio in the form of fractions, we take the LCM of denominators and we multiply each fraction with the same LCM to ensure that the fractions get eliminated and we get proper numbers. Now let's go back to the question. Now I'm told that A plus B minus C is equal to 21. That means total is not given. And I've been discussing this from the first class कि जब भी ratio दिया हुआ है, the best method is convert ratios into actual terms. ठीक है? तो अगर ratio 6:4:3 है, तो actual terms क्या होगा? 6x, 4x and 3x. Now what is the question talking about? The question says A plus B minus C is equal to 21. So what is 6x plus 4x? That is 10x. What is 10x minus 3x? That is 7x. So what do we get from here? We get 7x is equal to 21, or we get the value of x is equal to 21 by 7, which gives me how much? 3. So we got the value of x is equal to 3. Now what is the question asking us? The question is asking us b plus c minus a. Let's do that. What is b plus c? So b is 4x plus c is 3x minus a is 6x. So 4x plus 3x would give you 7x minus 6x. That means the value that the question is asking us to calculate is the value of x. And do we know the value of x? Yes, we know the value of x is equal to 3. Therefore, our answer in this question becomes 3. Clear, guys? I repeat the summary of this portion is if you are given ratios in the form of fractions, take the LCM of denominators, multiply each part with the LCM, and then you get the ratio in the non-fractional form. to simplify your ratios and move forward with your calculations in an easy manner. Okay, let's move forward. Now, what is this talking about? Now, this says 2a is equal to 3b is equal to 4c. Now, this is another type of concept that we are looking at. Clear? Now, the shortcut is pretty simple here. Or let's understand the mathematical approach first. So, if I have 2a is equal to 3b is equal to 4c, whenever you have something of this kind, let's always equate it to k. Clear? So, what do we get from here? So, we can write 2a is equal to k, or we get a is equal to k divided by 2. Similarly, we have 3b is equal to k, which means from here I will also get b in the form of k, that becomes k by 3. And I have 4c is equal to k, which means I get c is equal to k by 4. Now, if the question is asking us the ratio of a is to b is to c, we can simplify this to be k by 2 is 2k by 3 is 2k by 4. Clear? Now, k is common, so we can cancel k from all the terms, which means the final ratio is 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4. Now, what do we have here? हमारे पास ratio of fractions है. We learned in the previous slide, how do we simplify ratio of fractions? You always take LCM of denominators, that is 2, 3 and 4, the LCM is 12. And we multiply 12 to each term of the ratio. So, I multiply 12 here, I multiply 12 here, and I multiply 12 here. That means my final ratio becomes 6 is to 4 is to 3 should be the answer of this question. Now, this is the mathematical approach. Now, let's understand a shortcut to this. Whenever equal to sign is given, इसका एक shortcut है guys. I'm erasing this part. इसका शॉर्टकट सिंपल सा होता है. अगर हमको 2a इज इक्वल टू 3b इज इक्वल टू 4c दिया हुआ है, तो रेशियो ऑफ a इज टू b इज टू c विल बी द इनवर्स ऑफ द कोएफिशिएंट्स ऑफ a, b एंड c हियर. इनवर्स हो जाएगा. अगर ये 2/1 है तो वो इनवर्स होके डायरेक्टली क्या हो जाएगा 1/2. अगर ये 3/1 है तो ये हो जाएगा 1/3. अगर ये 4/1 है तो ये हो जाएगा 1/4. Now we can simplify 2, 3, 4 का LCM होता है 12. So I multiply each term with 12. So this is multiplied by 12. This is also multiplied by 12 and this is also multiplied by 12. And finally we get the ratio as 6 is to 4 is to 3 becomes the final format of the ratio. Clear guys? So two simple things that we have learned. One, ratio of fractions. Two, whenever equal to sign is given. I repeat once again, अगर ratio of fractions दिया हुआ है, we take LCM of denominators and then we multiply each part of the ratio with the LCM. Right? We get the non-fractional form. Second shortcut that we have learned is if I am given equal to sign, then their ratio would be inverse of the coefficient of the terms. Clear? So these are the two simple models that we are learning in this session so far. Let's move forward and solve it. So I'm given a by b is equal to b by, so a by 2 is equal to b by 5, which is equal to c by 7. Clear? So can I write this as half into a is equal to 1 by 5 into b, which is equal to 1 by 7 into c. We learned just now, whenever there's an equal to sign, the ratio of a is to b is to c will be nothing but inverse of the coefficients. Now, what is the coefficient of a here? That is 1 by 2. What is the coefficient of b? That is 1 by 5. And what is the coefficient of c? That is 1 by 7. So, now our job is to inverse them. So, 1 by 2 will inverse to become 2 by 1. 1 by 5 will inverse to become 5 by 1. And 1 by 7 will inverse to become 7 by 1. And this becomes the ratio of a is to b is to c in a quick manner. Clear guys? So, this is how we apply these two concepts. Please keep them in mind along with combining ratios so that you can apply them very quickly in the questions given to you. Now, let's look at this. Now, what do I have here? A person wants to distribute some chocolates amongst Anant, Bhargav, Chandan and Deepak in the ratio of 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4 is to 1 by 5 is to 1 by 6. What is the minimum number of chocolates that the person should have? Now, first of all, number of chocolates क्या होता है? Number of chocolates हमेशा integer होता है. ठीक है? अब अगर हमको number of chocolates integer के format में निकालना है, and I'm given ratio of fractions. So सबसे पहले let's simplify ratio of fractions. ठीक है, तो ratio of fractions क्या होता है यहाँ पे 1/3 is to 1/4 is to 1/5 is to 1/6. Now we discussed how do we simplify ratio of fractions. We take LCM of denominators. Now quickly calculate LCM of 3, 4, 5, 6. Clear? So what is the LCM of 3, 4, 5, 6 guys? The LCM of 3, 4, 5, 6 is 60. So therefore I multiply with 60 with each one of them. 60, 60, 60 and 60. So what do I get as a non-fractional form of the ratio? That is 20 is to 15 is to 12 is to 10. Okay? So this is what we have as a non-fractional form of the ratio. Now we know that number of chocolates is always an integer. Okay? So therefore this guy would have 20x chocolates, this guy would have 15x chocolates, this guy would have 10x chocolates and 12x chocolates. Now if I want number of chocolates to be minimum, we want the minimum possible value of x. ठीक है, तो what is the first of all पहले ये निकाले थे total number of chocolates का minimum total number of chocolates का value क्या होता है 20 plus 10 होता है 30, 30 plus 20 27 मतलब 57 x should be the value of number of chocolates. If I want to minimize this, I want to minimize the value of x. ठीक है, अब ध्यान से देख के बताओ अगर हमको इंटीजर वैल्यूज चाहिए या नेचुरल नंबर वैल्यूज चाहिए तो x का मिनिमम वैल्यू क्या हो सकता है. अगर हम यहाँ पे x का वैल्यू हाफ लेते हैं, लेट्स अज्यूम हाफ, तो ये 10 हो जाएगा. बट दिस विल बी 7.5. आई कांट हैव 7.5 चॉकलेट्स, so half can't be taken. If I take 1/3, these two will be integers, but these two will not be integers. So therefore if I observe, the minimum possible value of x that we can assume is equal to 1. Since the minimum possible value of x is equal to 1, the minimum number of chocolates that the person should have will be 57 into 1. That is going to be 57 here, because I repeat, every person should have natural number of chocolates. My number of chocolates cannot be in decimal format. Clear? So therefore to minimize it, I need the minimum value of x, and the minimum value of x should be 1 to ensure that each of the terms is a natural number. Clear guys? Let's move to the next question. Now twice the amount with A is equal to 4 times the amount with B, which is in turn equal to 5 times the amount with C. So what am I given? I am given 2A is equal to 4B, which is equal to 5C. Now we have equal to sign. We have discussed if we have equal to sign, the ratio of A is to B is to C will be what guys? Will be inverse of these coefficients. हमको इन coefficients को inverse करना है. तो अगर 2/1 है, उसका inverse value कितना हो जाएगा 1/2, इसका inverse value हो जाएगा 1/4 और इसका inverse value हो जाएगा 1/5. Now our job is to simplify the ratio of fractions. Clear? So what is the simplified form here? So we have to take LCM of denominators. What is LCM of 2, 4 and 5 guys? Quickly can we calculate please? So LCM of 2, 4 and 5 will become 20. Right? So I multiply each term with 20. Right? So this becomes my rough part. Let's come down to the final part. So the final ratio of A is to B is to C is 10 is to 5 is to 4. Clear? Right? Now if the total amount with all the three of them together is 380, find the amount with A. Now we have ratios, we have total. What is the best method to calculate guys? The best method to calculate becomes the fraction approach. ठीक है? तो A का value क्या हो जाएगा 10 divided by 10 plus 5 plus 4, which is 19 into 380. So I should know that 19 20s is 380. So therefore the total number of the total amount with A here becomes 200, and that becomes our final answer. Clear guys? Let's move to the next question here. Now the number of chocolates with A is half the number of chocolates with B, okay, which in turn is equal to thrice the number of chocolates with C. Now let's understand. Number of chocolates with A is half the number of chocolates with B, which in turn is thrice the number of chocolates with C. मतलब हमारे पास equal to sign है. अगर equal to sign दिया हुआ है, we have already learned कि इनका ratio क्या हो जाएगा guys? इनका ratio हो जाएगा inverse of the coefficient. अब इस coefficient को inverse करेंगे तो ये 1/1 ही रहेगा. 1/2 को inverse करेंगे तो कितना हो जाएगा? 2/1. अब 3/1 को अगर हम inverse करेंगे तो कितना हो जाएगा? 1/3. क्लियर? अब हमारे पास क्या आ गया? अब हमारे पास रेशियो ऑफ फ्रैक्शंस आ गया. अब रेशियो ऑफ फ्रैक्शंस को कैसे सिंप्लीफाई करेंगे? बाय टेकिंग द एलसीएम ऑफ डिनोमिनेटर. तो एलसीएम ऑफ डिनोमिनेटर्स क्या हो जाएगा? 1 1 और 3 का एलसीएम 3 रहेगा. सो आई मल्टीप्लाई बाय 3 हियर, आई मल्टीप्लाई बाय 3 हियर एंड आई मल्टीप्लाई बाय 3 हियर. सो माय फाइनल रेशियो बिकम्स 3:6:1. तो ये हमारा फाइनल रेशियो हो गया. नाउ लेट्स अज्यूम दैट द नंबर ऑफ चॉकलेट्स हियर आर 3x, 6x and x. Now the question says the difference between the number of chocolates of A and C is 20. ठीक है? तो A and C मतलब 3x minus x हो जाएगा 20. So what do I have here? I have 2x is equal to 20 or x is equal to 20/2 which is equal to 10. अब x का वैल्यू 10 आ गया हमारे पास. What is the question asking us? Question is asking us find the total number of chocolates. Total number of chocolates क्या था guys? 3x plus 6x plus x. 3x plus 6x हो गया 9x, 9x plus हो गया 10x. So therefore अगर x का वैल्यू 10 है तो 10x का वैल्यू कितना हो जाएगा? 10 into 10 that is equal to 100. So therefore the total number of chocolates here is going to be 100. So far we have learned just two models. We are just applying them in a shortcut manner to ensure that we are getting the answers in the least possible time. ठीक है? Let's move forward. Now the ratio of prices of two articles A and B is 5:6 and the ratio of number of articles sold of A and B is 3:2. Find the ratio of the revenue generated by selling the articles. First of all, what is revenue? Remember, revenue is nothing but your total selling price. Always remember, revenue is nothing but your total selling price. Now, I'm given selling price of each article and I'm also given number of articles. So therefore, my total selling price is selling price per article into my number of articles always gives you total selling price. ठीक है? तो let's see. I am given selling price per article का ratio दिया हुआ है. Selling price per article. If the ratio is 5:6, let me assume this as 5x and 6x. Clear? And the next part is I am talking about number of articles. So number of articles sold is 3:2. Clear? Now remember, whenever you have two ratios in the same question and there is no common term, then the number of variables used should also be different variables. अगर two ratios है तो two variables ही आएगा. ठीक है? So अगर ये 5x 6x हो गया तो let me assume this as 3y and 2y. अब हमको पता है guys that total selling price is selling price per article into number of articles. ठीक है? तो अगर मैं इन दोनों को मल्टीप्लाई करता हूं तो मेरा टोटल सेलिंग प्राइस का रेशियो आ जाएगा या रेवेन्यू का रेशियो आ जाएगा. सो दिस बिकम्स 15xy एंड दिस बिकम्स 12xy. xy gets cancelled. This is 3 5s and 3 4s. That means the ratio of revenues is nothing but 5:4. Now remember guys, whenever you are multiplying two ratios, the final ratio obtained is called the compound ratio. ठीक है? This is also one more type of ratio that we can learn, that the final ratio obtained is called the compound ratio. If I am calculating the compound ratio, what we can simplify here is हमको variables लेने का जरूरत नहीं है. I can directly multiply 5 into 3 and 6 into 2 and get my final answer because both the variables will eventually get cancelled if and only if I am calculating the compound ratio. That is something which is very important to us. Okay guys, let's move to the next question. Now the ratio of number of chocolates distributed to all the boys and girls in the class is 6:5. ठीक है? तो the number of chocolates distributed by each boy and each girl, let's say chocolates per student is 2:3. chocolates per student into number of students will give me total chocolates. That means what am I doing here guys? हम लोग यहाँ पे फिर compound ratio ही निकाल रहे हैं. ठीक है? तो now I'm given that this ratio is 6:5. Clear? Let me assume this as A and let me assume this as B. So I know that 2 into A should be equal to 6 or 2A divided by 3B, 3 into B should be in the ratio of 6:5, where A and B is nothing but the number of boys and number of girls. Clear? So if I simplify, this becomes 2 ones are 2 threes are. When I cross multiply, I get the ratio of A is to B as 9:5, and that becomes the ratio of number of boys is to number of girls in the class from the given conditions in the question. Okay guys, let's move to the next one. Yeah, so some amount is distributed amongst 80 persons in such that the ratio of amounts received by all the men, all the women and all the children is 12:15:16. Okay. If the ratio of the amount received by each child, each woman and each man is equal to 4:5:8, find the number of women in the group. Very simple again. So I have amount per person into number of persons will give me total amount. Clear? Which means again we are applying compound ratio only here. अब total amount हमको पता है men is to women is to children. Okay? Men is to women is to children is going to be 12 is to 15 is to 16. And now I am told that each child gets 4, each woman gets 5 and each man gets 8. Clear guys? Now, I now need this into this should give me this value. So let's simplify. I know that this becomes 4. This should be 3. Now 8 into what is 12? We should know that 8 into 1.5 is equal to 12. That means the ratio of men, women and children is 1.5 is to 3 is to 4. Now if it is 1.5 is to 3 is to 4, 1.5 can be written as 15 by 10. 15 by 10 is nothing but 3 by 2. Or what we can do is to make them proper, I multiply each term with 2. So this becomes 3 is to 6 is to h. Clear? So 8 plus 6 is going to be how much guys? 8 plus 6 is 14 and 14 plus 3 will give me 17. So my bad here. What we can do is we can change this. There are 85 people in the gang. Clear? 4 is to 5 is to 8. Yeah, we have applied it clearly. Child, woman and man. And I am told that men, woman and child is 12 is to 15 is 16. So this is what we are looking at. So this is men, woman and child. So let's make the total number of people as 85. Now what am I looking at? Find the number of women in the group. So this becomes 6 divided by 17 into 85. So 17 ones are 17 fives are. That means the total number of women in the group would be equal to 30 as per the given conditions in the question. So this is all that we need to know about different types of ratios, combining ratios and the basics of ratios. So what we'll start doing from the next session is we'll start looking at applications of ratios into multiple topics like ages, numbers, right, coins. There are different models. So next 3 to 4 videos will be application of all that we have learned in the first 5 videos. So it becomes very important for you to ensure that you are learning the first 5 videos perfectly, and then going forward we'll start applying them. So stay tuned for the next videos guys. Till then, all the best and take care.